some people will be really excited by this, and some people will be really dismayed. So TikTok has banned under 16s from direct messaging. Okay, now that immediately my thought was, aren't the vast majority of their audience under 16s? Does this not take some functionality away? But at the same time, obviously, it's about safety. It's about making sure that these children aren't falling prey to attacks or sorry,
grooming.
grooming. Yeah, I was trying to avoid certain terms.
No.
Yeah. So for me, it was I was shocked to see it, because TikTok isn't that old yet that I feel that they warrant regulatory attention. They're not someone that's so well established. They are well established in people's lives, but usually it takes a little bit of time for the regulator to step in and suddenly go, right, solve this problem, and then they do something about it. And Facebook's a key example of that. They take a long time to implement something, and they'll wait for the regulator to tell them before they do something. So TikTok have taken this proactive approach to the safety of under 16s on their platform. And that, from a marketing standpoint, when I assume is your key audience, and I've got a stat here as well, which this is a UK regulator Ofcom survey from 2019 that said that suggests that TikTok was used by 13% of 12 to 15-year-olds. So of the population in the UK of 12 to 15-year-olds, only 13% in 2019 used it. TikTok was pretty big in 2019. It's only grown in the last 3 months of 2020 more. So I assume that number's grown, and it's only now they've taken action on that under 16s.
First off, it's lip service. They have to show the initiative that they're putting these things in place. As you know, in the UK here, there's a lot going on about like cyberbullying, the other dodgy stuff that we're not allowed to mention, but you know what I mean? And all that kind of thing. There's also, I get what they're doing there because kids are vicious. And TikTok especially is rife with, I've seen when I used to go into there and watch some of the clips and try to get my head around the content, there is some nasty stuff that gets said. And there's even kids recording themselves like crying about the bullies and all that. So I think they're trying to control that. And it's a great initiative. But the PR there, we care, we're going to do this. But here's the thing, and this is from experience of working on Facebook and doing targeted ads and all that kind of stuff. How many of those kids are honest about their age on that channel?
Okay, good. That brings me to a very good point, which is you could put any age you want into these services. You could say I was
lip service.
Yeah.
They haven't done something. So if you remember a story a couple of months ago that there was some law was coming to the UK where you had to prove your age by credit card or passport to access porn sites. That's what they were going to implement. Now, this is our genius government who hasn't got a clue that anyone can bypass that stuff. These kids are smart. They'll work it out. I mean, you can VPN to the US and then do it that way. You know what I mean? You can do what you want. It's a brand or a company has to show their initiative. They have to show that they are putting things in place. But they haven't put something. How would you tell a 16-year-old to verify themselves? And if they had to, how many 14, 13-year-olds will be talking to their mates? They're on Reddit or they're on
straight away.
And here's a way to bypass that age check. It's a story. It's a timeless story of like when you used to buy booze when you're underage. Kids find a way around it.
Yeah.
Some kids won't. Some kids will have parents who are in control, and you're not, like you get the parents like you're only allowed a mobile when you're about 10. And you have a Facebook account when you're this, and I get it. It's all protection, and there's nothing bad on TikTok's part for doing it. But these initiatives, kids work it out, man. It's like, yeah.
There'll be WhatsApp chats or whatever. Just exactly.
How to bypass the TikTok.
Someone will put up a YouTube video literally of that within 30 seconds of saying, here's how you do it. Like, because you can screen record your phone.
They do on YouTube. When you upload your content, if you've got swearing, obviously it tells them it's adult content or whatever. And we were talking about him earlier, Logan Paul, for instance, who a few years ago, 2 years ago, had maybe 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds, has got more like an adult base coming through right now. But those other youngsters who are discovering him, you think they've gone and filled in their true birthday on their YouTube channel?
No, because as soon as you're asked that stuff, it's you're just going to bypass it. Absolutely, you're going to realize you're not able to see the stuff you want to see because your friends are talking about Logan Paul or whatever,
nice, but pointless.
So I find it interesting that these types of companies are taking regulatory so seriously then, because usually, like I said, it's a wait and see approach. Let's wait and see what the regulator does, and then we'll make some sort of action. They've obviously taken some preventative action straight away. And we saw that and I've got some notes here. In 2018, Facebook introduced rules to make WhatsApp available to over 16s only across the EU to adhere to GDPR regulations.
It's you could have, like, for one, the regulator, for one, how is he or she or they ever gonna access the information about an individual on these channels? Because one, these are the same people that have GDPR running, where you cannot look at private information anyway. So even if some kid's lying about their age,
Mhm.
even if some kid has manipulated the system to get in there, they're not gonna go in and say, this kid's behavior, he's not 16, he's acting like a 12-year-old. What is his name? Let's ban him. They can't even do that. They're not allowed to. It's encrypted data. And it's
Yeah.
just the I get I sound like I'm frustrated. I don't mean to be. It's more, there's these initiatives in place. And a lot of times it comes down to, when it comes to regulating this stuff and controlling it, it's down to parents and things and access at home and all that kind of stuff. But these kids they're born in this digital age.
Yeah.
They're born being given iPads in the pram, like, and if all the kids at school are on TikTok and you're not, or whatever, they're gonna figure out a way. I just think it's a wasted initiative. It should be better spent on, and another hard thing, like listening into, like, having AI or robots listen to conversations to spot irregularities, not actually listening to like advertisers would for some reason, but like looking for key syntax, looking for key moments. And we've got the technology to do that. I sound like an old show there. We have the technology, but
Well,
yeah, that's just my take on it. I could be completely shot down here on this, but I know this generation right now, these younger kids, they will beat anything. They will figure out, like Warzone we were talking about,
mhm.
Call of Duty, shooting each other, blood going everywhere, and all that. I'm a 45-year-old
Mm.
man. I'm on there and I'm seeing all this violence I'm doing. You telling me that maybe 80% of the people in there are not underage?
I think like the game GTA 5 when that came out, that was 18 plus. But you would go on the servers and there'd be kids on there, 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids.
In the film's red, isn't it? Like, oh, this is a 2 to 18 film. I mean, that to me, teenagers are like, yeah, we got to get a hold of that 2 to 18. It's
Well, so just going back to this then, on my issue is there's a TikTok are obviously paying lip service for a scenario or potentially behind the scenes something we don't know about has happened, and they're obviously doing an initiative to preempt something or to preempt them being pushed by politicians, pushed by regulators. Sorry,
covering their ass.
covering their ass, absolutely. And so I find it very difficult to get behind this as a safety measure because, as you know full well, and anyone working at TikTok will know, that they still have children on their service. They may not be or DMing, but at least they won't get picked up because now they'll be going to they'll be signing up as a 20-year-old because they faked their age. And then there's no way of understanding the type of activity that's going on there because you won't be scanning that, or you won't be understanding the metrics around that pool of group of people who are 13 to 16, let's say, because they're just going to be in this other category in your analytics that you're not observing. So these actually, it doesn't help them understand where there's any kind of bullying or anything, any kind of illegal activity happening that shouldn't be happening on their platform. It effectively pushes the problem away into a data set that they'll never look at.
Yeah, but it's also, if there is some scandal, if there is, because we know about all the scandals on social and what happens, especially with like the young kids and things like that, is they can say, it's kind of like saying, hey, we had controls in place, to not allow this age group in there. And at the end of the day, the whole thing boils down to, there's a little if statement on their site that basically says, if age is below this, do not allow. That's it. There's, yeah, I don't get frustrated. I just find it so pointless that you put these things in place. That's why I mentioned the government earlier with that probably bad example about verifying your age for porn. I mean, we all know every accent.
You knew quite a lot about that topic.
Yeah, mate, I've been doing it since 6. So. No, it's there's ways around this stuff, and there's probably heartfelt and good intentions behind this, because they're not a malicious company in the sense that we don't care, we just want to protect our asses. But this won't stop a thing.
No.
You know, it might maybe a few numbers go down or whatever, but
Yeah.
was going to tell Freddie, hey mate, I'm on TikTok, I can DM. How'd you do that? Check it out, and it's done.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have their phones at school. Their mate's going to tell them how to do it. They set up a new account or whatever, and they're off. And like I said, they'll be
a 12-year-old, and all the guys are talking. There's some girl that you like. Somebody says, "Hey, why don't you DM her?" And you turn around and say, "Oh, I can't have DM. I'm not old enough yet, mate."
Yeah, you're just going to be like absolute mug. Of course, you want to do. Yeah. So I think, like you say, they're paying lip service. They're covering their backsides on this.
Do you know what's
it's not going to change anything?
Do you know what's dangerous here? And we're probably going on a bit on this segment. What's dangerous here is that a parent might read this, right? And they think, sweet, TikTok's got it on lockdown. They got my kids back. Great. This kid, they won't even know that this kid is on the DMs and doing his thing, because they've read this article that TikTok has this initiative. So the parents that's not
they think it's safe,
savvy, or they just think that these guys speak nothing but the truth. They're not going to be clued up on it, and that's quite a dangerous thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to think that actually that's it's going to go into a group of things, and they'll be like, yeah, this is okay for my kid to use. It would go into their like tick list of apps they can listen. Well, TikTok's for kids, and unfortunately, it's not. I know we've gone on a little bit longer on this segment than I would have liked to, but I know it's such a fun topic, but it's obviously just bringing it to the fore with these types of companies. As I said, it's quite a young company, but do you remember when there was actually a whole campaign for like old people not to be on TikTok? It was young people going, "This isn't your platform. Get out of here," because you had like some grandparents who realized their kids are on TikTok, and then they got into it, and then you had this whole older segment on TikTok. And I remember there being quite a bit of some pushback from sort of
the digital circle of life of any given channel. Every single channel that we are on today started off with the youth. Facebook was hot, like everyone was on there. Then the aunties and uncles decided to jump on board. Snapchat, all the
my god,
marketeers and tutorial people and mom and dad got onto Snapchat, and they kept going. TikTok, they'll move off it. They'll go somewhere else. It'll be big. You'll have people there. But the minute us old folk or boomers, or no, I'm not a boomer, I don't consider myself. But anyway, the minute we get on there, that's the beginning of the end. Yeah. They'll move to the next one. So it's kind of like the circle of life. I remember years ago we were targeting these age groups on Facebook. Now we don't bother.
Yeah.